everyone. In this video, I will be showing you how to use the different input and output functions of the C programming language. I will be using code blocks as our editor and compiler. So to start, we will be opening a new file. To start creating your C program, start a new file by going to the File menu, choose New, and choose Empty File. You can also use the shortcut, the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Shift-N. As you could see, initially, the name of our file is untitled1. To make this file a C program file, we will have to save it as .c. So you could choose what type of file you would like to create. So in our case, we will be choosing C. Or you could also type in the file name, for example, input-output functions. Then you may indicate the file extension name, which is .c. Then click Save. So there you go. We have a file, and code blocks already know that it is a C program file. Let us now start creating our simple program. But before that, we could add comments. You could add a single line comment by typing in 2 double forward slash, and you may type in your comment. For example, this program will use the input and output functions of the C programming language. There. But in case that you would like to use a multi-line comment, instead of the double forward slash, you could use forward slash asterisk and then your comment and end it with another asterisk forward slash. Now we will start by adding a preprocessor directive. We do this by typing in # or number sign include, then open and close angle brackets. Then inside the angle brackets is where you will place, you will write down your library header. In our case, we will be using the stdio.h. This is the standard input-output library where our input and output functions are located. So we have to include this so we could use the functions, the input and output functions. Now, for every C program, you will always have a main function. You may have a main function that does not return any type, any data. So if that is the case, you will not return any data or type. You will type here void, as void is a data type with no value. And if your main function does not pass any parameter, you could also say void inside the parentheses, meaning there will be no parameters to be passed. Now we put in the open and close curly braces to signify the start and end of our block, meaning whatever statements that we put inside, these are part of the main function. Also, void can be disregarded. You may type it as a blank. You could also do that. But if in case that there will be something that you will return, for example, int, you could also do that. But make sure that you will have this statement return 0 at the end of your main function. So we could either do any of the two. For me, I will be disregarding the data type, the return type, and the parameter. By the way, we will be using the input functions. The input functions, we have input functions. We will be discussing the getch function, the getche, the getchar, getS, and scanf functions. Okay. So we will first use the getch. Getch is a function that accepts a single character. A character is any symbol, any letter, or any number, any alphanumeric character. So we start by having a variable first where we will place the character that we will get from the user. Before we use a variable, we have to declare it. To declare a variable, you have to indicate the type of that variable, meaning what type of data that variable will hold. This is intended for the memory allocation. Every data type has different sizes in memory allocation. For character, we have 8 bits. For example, we will be having a name. So after the data type is the name, for example, middle initial. So MI. And then to end this variable declaration, you put in the semicolon. So this is variable declaration. We are declaring a variable called MI, which stands for middle initial, with a data type of character. Next is we have to get the value or the input from the user. To do this, we will be using the getch function. Now, if the user will enter a letter, for example, for the middle initial, where will we put it? So we will be putting it or assigning the value that was given by the user to the variable mi. Now, mi will have a value. So let's try to run it first. Pile and run. So click on build and run. There. So the executable file is here. It is waiting for an input from the user. So let's take, for example, I will be typing in letter T, uppercase letter T. So there you go. I have already typed in letter T. But as you could see, there will be no display of the letter that I typed because we are using getch. So that is the difference with getche. When we use getche, it will also echo or display the one that you have entered. A while ago, when we typed in letter T or any letter that you would like to have, that will be placed on the memory, specifically in the mi variable name. But now, take a look at the difference of the two. So I'll be typing letter T again. So there, it shows us the character that we have typed. That is the difference between getch and getche. They will both get a character from the user, a single character, but for getche, it will echo or it will display whatever character that you have typed. We could also have the getchar. For getchar, instead of terminating at once, similar with getch and getche, the program will be terminated as long as we type in the character. For getchar, it will be terminated with an enter key and display it as well. Display the character that you have typed. So let's try. I will be typing in, for example, A. So I'll type T or whatever. When I type in enter, which among the three will be stored in the mi variable? So would it be the first one, the second one, or the last one? Let us try to check by displaying it. We will be using the putchar, meaning we will be displaying. By the way, putchar is an output. It is an output function of C. We have putchar and put s and printf function. So we will be going through. We will also discuss now the putchar, and that is to display whatever value the variable that we put in the parenthesis would be. So again, would it be the first one, the second one, or the third one, or the last one? So it shows that mi already has stored the first character that you have typed in, but it will only terminate once you press the enter key. So that is getch, getche, and getchar. All of them, let's have a recap. All of them will be getting a character input from the user. That means any alphanumeric symbol or character. The next input function that we will discuss is the getS. Unlike the three previous input functions that we have discussed, getS will accept a string. What is a string? A string is a series of characters, meaning it has more than one character. But a string is not a data type. Take note of that. A string is not a data type. It is a sequence of characters. For example, A is a character. So if it is a character, it is enclosed in single quote. For example, another character is 2. and another character is the exclamation point. But if we do this, A to exclamation point, that becomes now a string because it is composed of more than one character. This is a string. But then again, string is not a data type. So we will not put here string. No, we will still be using character data type. But the difference now is that it has a size. For example, this one, it could store 3 characters. So if that is the case, you will type in there 3. The size of your variable mi is 3. But take note that the index there would be, for example, in mi index 0, mi index 1, and mi index 2. Taking, for example, this one, we have a 2 exclamation point. There you go. So we could extract them one by one per character. If you would notice, whatever is your size, that we will start, the index will always start by in 0. So the last would be the size minus 1. So if our size is 3, then the last index would be 3 minus 1, which is 2. So same is true if you have a bigger size for your string. You have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 until mi at index 9. So let us now discuss the use of getS. So instead of mi, let's have fname, meaning first name. We could also name our variable or the identifier name the camel casing, wherein if we have 2 words, we could capitalize the second word of that. Now that we have declared a string with a size of 10, let's change it maybe with 20 because we will be getting a first name. Instead of mi is equal to getchar, we will be using the getS, meaning get string. This time, instead of putting it in a variable here, we will be placing it inside the parentheses. So we are saying that whatever the user will enter and terminates with an enter key, it will be stored in our variable first name. So to check, let's make this a comment for the meantime, or remove it. Let's remove it, then we will run. So we could type here. Okay, so therefore, Katrina is already stored in the variable first name. To check that, we could use the second output function, which is the putS. Then we put in the parentheses whatever variable we would like to display. Again. So there. The first one is we entered the string and it was stored in the variable called fname. Then, after that, we use the putS function, our output function, to display whatever value we have in the first name variable. So we are done with getch, getche, getchar, and getS. So we will now proceed with Scanf. We are also done with putchar and putS. The difference of this with getS is that this 3 can accept character, while this one, getS, accepts string. For the output functions, putchar will only display a single character, while putS can display a string. Let's now proceed with the next, Scanf and printf. For Scanf, it can accept a character. It can also accept a string. This is usually used by all other programmers, as it could accept an integer, a character, a string, a float. So let's take, for example, we will be accepting a data of type integer. So for that, we will be changing the way we declare. First is the data type. We have int, and then our identifier name, for example, age, and then we end it with a semicolon. We could say scanf, and then take note of this. We have the open and close parenthesis, and inside the open and close double quote, and then %d. This is our format specifier, %d. So it will depend upon the data type. If it's an integer, therefore %d for digit. If it is a character, it would be %c. If it is a float, %f. And if it is a string, for example, we have %s. So we go back to the first one, which is int. So we have %p. And then please do not forget putting the comma, and then on the right side of the comma would be the name of your variable, which is age. But take note that we are going to save the data that will be accepted to the variable age. Therefore, we must place an ampersand that signifies the address of age. So now let's try to print using the printf function. We could write here, you are blank years old. But we should write here the value that was entered by the user. But we cannot put in the word or the variable name. Instead, we will be placing a format specifier, which is %d, since it is of type integer. You are %d years old. Now, where will the value come from? So we can write here, comma, then we type in the variable name where the value is stored. We'll try to compile and run. So let's say 35. Then you are 35 years old. If you are going to run it again, 37. Then you are 37 years old. But as you could see, the user would not know what to type. We could also give the user a hint of what we want him or her to type. So we type here, enter your age. Then don't forget the semicolon. So upon execution, the user would know what to do. So enter your age, for example, 38. So you are 38 years old. So let's also try to add another variable. Let's have a name of type character, but it is a string. So let's have of size 25. So aside from age, let's ask the user to type in her or his or her name. Enter your name. And then we'll try to save it in the variable name. So we have Scanf. Then, since this is a string, we have a format specifier of %s. And then comma, we put it in the address of the variable name. So we do not need to put the size. No need to do that. That would suffice. So after entering the name, after entering the age, we could display this that hi, then %s, you are %d years old. So how many format specifier do we have? We have here, we have 2. So 1 and 2. Therefore, we will also have 2 variables in this side. So we have the name and the age. Name is for %s and age for %d. Compile, enter your name, enter your age. So, hi Katrina, you are 36 years old. So, whenever you run, that would change. So, hi Mishka, you are 4 years old. Hi Yuan, you are 8 years old. So, that is the use of scanf and printf. Also, we could display a specific character of our string. Let's take, for example, here I would like to display, I will put here \n, meaning new line. The third character of your name is then %c, meaning we are going to look for the index, the third index, because it says here the third character of your name is %c. So remember, the index starts with 0, so that's the first one. 1, that's the second. 2, that is the third. So we write here index 2. So there you go. Hi Katrina, you are 36 years old. The third character of your name is T. So if you're going to change the name again, for example, Mishka, the third character of your name is S. That is because we specified an address, but take note that it is of %C format specifier. Unlike here, %S, no need for the index. But for here, we are specifically wanting to display a character. We provide what index that character is of. Okay, so that summarizes the use of the input and output functions. So I hope you understood well the different uses. So that's all. Thank you very much for listening. You may type in the comment box if you have questions regarding this lecture, and I will be answering them through another video maybe. Thank you.